And so Husayn took the reins and mounted his steed. He gave a final look towards Zainab, and his heart bled indeed. Along your side I will be watching over you, and my blessings I will give. Zainab, to you I plead, forget not my name and not my story. Keep me in your heart and remember my glory. How dare I forget the face of Husayn? Never. With every sip of water and every drop of rain, I will remember your stance here on this day against the army of evil, and how you were slain. I will forever hold your name close to my heart, and in every prayer I will say once and once again, my Lord, as I am in your sight and as is my pain, relieve my heart and bring me once more to see Husayn. Husayn entered the battlefield and looked death in its eyes. I have come to crush you and end your lies, to banish your filth, to avenge innocent cries. And there Husayn stood, and the army with him did rise. Al-Akbar Qasim standing under the skies. Husayn, with him lived truth, the raging might of Abbas, the will of Qasim and Al-Akbar's youth. Husayn, the ground shivered, the core of the land began to sway, and the heavens turned angry, ready to fight for him on this day. The sand, engulfed in rage, sprung in the wind's path, and thunder armed its barrage, ready to prey upon the beast standing against Husayn, awaiting the fray. In Husayn's sword was thunder and its anger, and his eyes complexity and its answer, in his fist valor and all its splendor. The rage of the heavens and the dander it possessed. The composure of Husayn blessed his opponents into dreadful distress. Husayn has risen, let the universe arch in respect and reverence. Husayn has lifted the word of God, honoring his oneness. Husayn has risen, tell truth to assemble, and pay its honor to the man it resembles. Husayn has risen, let the hearts awaken, and not a good heart will slumber or remain unshaken. Tell the spirits of benevolence to soar free and high. Husayn has risen to answer their cry. Husayn has risen, so assemble your heart, in his name initiate and start. Through his melodies of wisdom, paint your art. Hold his essence close, don't allow yourself to distance or depart. Husayn, through him Ali walked the battlefield once more, twisting his sword, demonstrating the arts of war. Dare not to stand in the face of Husayn this day. This is the son of Ali, the fortress of righteousness, not timid with defense, ready to strike away. And as Husayn approached, his enemies fluttered, their spines vanished, minds and hearts cluttered. There comes the army to decimate once again, Husayn commanding as he left his den. And the sword of Husayn did feast that span, not with malice, but bringing justice to the oppressed as it forever can. Not long was it before Husayn breached their walls. He turned their right wing to their left with crushing brawls, then dismantled their core and center, bringing their knights to fall. Cowards they were, weak and feeble, but Husayn powerful like a gallant eagle. His strikes ambushed these demons from front and behind, from all sides, a spectacle for heroes, decisive and defined. As Husayn dashed through their lines, the cowards ran and escalated their crimes. Towards his camp they launched their injury, and Husayn echoed as he earned victory. His roar traveled across their thoughts and reasoning. Return, you cowards, and fight a worthy opponent. Your disgrace keeps deepening. And so they owed it to Husayn to return to the fight, to face his strength and meet his might. But as the clock of the day came to its end, and as the sands of the hourglass continued to descend, it pained Husayn that he still found no friend. And the day in Karbala grew even hotter, and Husayn's body weakened with no water. Soon the sword began to stall, And Abbas still did not answer the call, and the shield of Husayn became heavy to haul. Thirst has now made its passage deep, and Husayn grew exhausted of its dread and choking creep. While he stood to take a moment of rest under the blazing sun amidst his quest, a stone came flying towards his forehead, projecting its injury on a face so blessed. Husayn, hurt by the impact of this blow, wiped the blood from his face carefully and slow. His vision became dim with the flow of the red, and the phantom of Abbas longed to comfort him as he bled. Husayn looked death in the eyes and said with disdain, "Your efforts will bring you no lasting gain. You have invoked a blood so holy, so await your judgment on the day of glory. With my blood today I write my story, that I, Husayn, stood in the face of death, and through my honorable death have brought death to its death." Then, from the horizon, a three-pronged arrow traveled across the land, and entered the chest of Husayn, and cast his blood over the sand. Husayn, injured and withstanding his pain, yet alive from within, every drop of his blood planting a hopeful grain, he took the arrow from the back and dragged it outwards. With my sacrifice today is my everlasting gain. With his blessed hands he carried his honorable blood, and threw it towards the heavens above. The blood journeyed towards the sky, rising like a dove. It lamented to its Lord of that which befell Husayn below, how he was held captive in a land where life could not grow, where his friends and sons were killed brutally slow, where the generous hands of Abbas were severed and lost their glow, where he left Zainab and Sukaina and orphans in woe, where his blood was spilled across the sands below. As the blood petitioned in the heavens hollowed, a spear pierced through Husayn's back, and multiple hits with a sword followed. There, the spear, the stone, the sword, and every object in sight cried and shed red tears for the pain they caused this night. Forgive us, dear warrior of truth, for it's the hands of filth that executed this smite. Overlook our trespass and accept our plight. To the sand Husayn descended, and with his fall his name ascended, to crown every heart of goodness where his story attended. There he fell to the sand, to join his late companions, to rest in peace, to once again hold Abbas's hand. As he rested his body and awaited, he remembered his daughters and sister. How shall they fare if his soul faded? He cast a final gaze of farewell towards his camp. In the color of his blood painfully tinted, he echoed a salute through his heart's melodies. Before her eminent route's agonies, Zainab, my beloved, never be bereaved. With you I will remain, I will never leave. A short while passed before a dagger was revealed, stained with blood and in terror smeared. Maliciously, it only came after Abbas's hands were severed and his wrath cleared, signaling a tragedy that Zainab had feared. A vile dagger in the hand of a demon, never to be forgiven and never to walk the gardens of Eden. Shimr arrived to kill dignity, to stab faith with his dagger, only to find that Husayn is far from being attentive to that matter. Husayn was soaring above in the clouds, addressing his beloved and master. My Lord, I have abandoned this world in search of you, seeking only nearness to your throne. Should daggers and swords cut me to fragments, my heart will sway in no other direction than yours, and will embellish its existence from your fragrance. Forgive me, O one who inquires about Husayn. Speechless I become, incapable of further narrating this tragedy. Words are futile, unable to tell of how his head sat above the spears. What garish atrocity, unspeakable, unbearable, and sorrowful was Karbala's brutality, where there was no water, where Husayn was martyred before his sister and daughters, and the day only grew hotter and hotter. I appeal to the shattered heart of Zainab, to her benevolent tear. Do tell Honorable Zainab why we cry for Husayn year after year. Husayn was killed, yet he still lives. Husayn is not a story, rather a fervent warmth that gives and gives. Husayn is a teacher that enchants the spirit, a beacon of enlightenment without limit. Husayn lives within my being, within my thoughts, inspiring strength to face the hardships that I march across. Husayn, I yearn to ascend near you in the heavens above. Husayn, verily my master, your sacrifice is the expression of love.